Hey everybody, it's meteorologist Brad Penovich for SkiSoutheast.com. Let's talk about this pattern this week. We are going to see a little bit of a warm-up going into the weekend, but it's not all bad news. We are going to see some cooler temperatures return going into next week. What's going on right now is we've got high pressure over the southeast, and while we've had a great stretch here early in the month, we're going to see our first bona fide warm-up. And what I mean by that is we're actually going to see temperatures kind of modify a little bit here going into the weekend. So I'm going to stop this on Friday, and what's going on is we're going to have high pressure off the east coast here. You can see our low pressure approaching from the west, and what's happening is we're getting that southwesterly flow. That's that dreaded blowtorch, which is going to warm up things. So everywhere across the southeast, I would expect temperatures to be too warm for snowmaking, probably starting tomorrow, if not tomorrow, certainly Friday into Saturday, and for most of Sunday. But you can see that storm system coming in. It's got two things with it. It's got some rain initially, but it's got some natural snow, and more importantly, some cold air. The southern part of this system moves through. Late Sunday, you could see it changing to snow up in West Virginia, but watch as this system passes to the south and we start to see colder air move in. This is actually a big area of cool high pressure, which is going to pump in some colder and drier air. So not a ton of natural snow, but it's going to turn cold again. So snowmaking could ramp back up starting Monday into next week. And next week is going to be a bunch of little fast moving systems. Got another one that approaches the middle of the week, and it's probably going to bring a good maybe a couple of inches of snow to the higher elevations. You could see it moving through fairly quickly. On the back side of it, looks like maybe the potential for a halfway decent northwest flow event for West Virginia, Virginia, and maybe Maryland Wednesday night into Thursday. That could last maybe well into Thursday before it tapers off. And then a big sprawling area of high pressure builds in. So the cold air is going to be around for a while. This is actually a pretty nice little setup here next week for at least snowmaking. While it doesn't look ideal for natural snow, there's been a lot of talk about these storms next week, and right now there's just a lot of uncertainty. Now, European forecast first shows you the Sunday night into Monday system. Not overly impressive. You can see probably an inch or two, maybe an inch or two in North Carolina. Now the midweek system helps out a little bit because of that northwest flow. I actually think that's going to do a little better job producing some snow, especially up in West Virginia into Maryland. What's interesting is the GFS model is a little more robust, though I'm not buying wholly into this. You can see the system on Monday definitely produces a little bit more snow than the Euro, and then the middle of the week system produces a whole bunch of snow for West Virginia. So both of them are showing decent chances of snow, just varying amounts, and it's going to depend on the amount of moisture. Now, as we look in the long range, we're getting to that time where people start planning for Christmas. We're about 2 weeks out for Christmas. And I'll show you first the long range pattern this weekend. You see the ridging. This is a pattern you don't want to see. The ridge building here, trough back here. We want to get that troughiness back into the region. So as we go into next week, you can see that dip in the jet stream. This is the Monday system, kind of right there. There's our dip in the jet stream. That's a nice little shot. And then we go to the middle of the week. You can see that next system swinging down on Wednesday into Thursday, not as sharp. And then I'm going to let this play out as we go into next weekend. Looks like a cutoff low kind of swings through there. So this will be interesting for next weekend, some kind of cutoff low. But what has my eye is that. That is a piece of the polar vortex. Looks like it's weakened, and it moves over Hudson Bay. Now that's usually a good sign that it's going to force cold air south. The problem is, I know a lot of the weather weenies out there and folks that are, love snow like me, you get excited when you see the polar vortex break down. Here's the thing about the polar vortex breaking down, though. You don't always know where the cold air is going to go. Kind of like spilling water on a table. Sometimes it's hard to tell which way it's going to go. Cold air is going to spill out of the polar region some direction. Sometimes it goes into Europe. Sometimes it goes into Alaska. Sometimes it goes into Siberia. Sometimes it comes south. Sometimes there's two areas, but wherever it goes down, there usually is a ridge in the opposite direction. So that's something to keep an eye on. It doesn't necessarily mean the cold air is coming our way. It's just going somewhere. But it's something to watch going into the end of the month, because I think that cold air that it's building up there, we've seen it build over in Siberia for a while now, probably a good sign we're going to see the cold air make a plunge south at some point here. If not in the next 2 weeks, I think maybe Christmas week into New Year's is a week to watch right now. So here's the forecast for the next 5 to 6 days. You could see not great news for snowmaking here. But after this weekend, we see that cold air and snow coming in from Monday to Tuesday. And I think we will see the pattern next week looks much better for snowmaking. So, hey, it's been a great start to the season. I'll take 4 days of not super warm weather, but not ideal weather to get us back to the cold weather next week, because next week does look like ideal snowmaking conditions once again. And because everybody's been able to make snow, we've got natural snow, the bases are really built up right now. And just looking at the slopes, the skiing looks amazing here early in the season. We're not even at Christmas yet. So it's time to get excited, folks. We've got a nice start to the season. Let's keep it rolling. We'll get through these humps, which we expect to see on and off throughout the season. Have a great weekend, everybody. If you're hitting the slopes, enjoy yourself. And as always, think snow.